Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here. We are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Wednesday, December 21st slate of NBA action, man. I'm super excited to dive into it. We do have actually a pretty good slate of basketball on, so I'm super excited to dive into it. But before we did, I did just want to go ahead and say that we are still currently on the road to 10,000 subscribers. You guys killed that sub button yesterday. We got so many new subscribers, and of course, if we do end up hitting 10K by the time that New Year's does hit, well, we're doing a pretty big giveaway that you guys definitely will not want to miss. We've been on an absolute tear recently, so if I've helped you guys make some money, make sure you guys do hit that sub button. But next, I did just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out here to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do, and thank you guys so much for giving such a small channel such a big chance, as I always say. It truly does mean the absolute world to me, so much more than you guys will ever know. So let's go ahead and dive into a quick recap as of yesterday. We ended up having another pretty good day, but before we talk about it, and boom, ladies and gentlemen, yes, we are here with the sunnies on, with the shades on, and if you guys are new around here and you guys have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, we did end up getting a clean sweep as of yesterday. So yes, that does bring us to 4 straight winning days and a sweep on the day. So why in the world would we stop now? Let's go ahead and extend that out to 5 winning days. Maybe let's even bring in another sweep. Let's do it. A huge slate on. We have 3 official plays, and then we do have our consensus play again. More than likely we'll be adding a play too. I'm waiting on some lines for some of the other games, but I more than likely will be adding another play. So if I end up doing that, then it will be in the pinned comment section and on my Twitter, so make sure you guys do check out both those spots. But currently, at the time of recording this, we do have 3 official plays and our consensus play. So let's go ahead and dive into a quick recap as of yesterday, though. As I had mentioned, we did end up getting a clean sweep, but it wasn't without a little bit of sweat, that's for sure. So we did end up having Jordan Poole under 27.5 points here versus the Knicks at -125. This might have been one of the sweatiest bets of all time, literally of all time. First things first, Jordan Poole was the only competent Warriors player out there last night. Like, he literally was the only player that was shooting the ball, the only player that was really playing well. Nobody else on this Golden State roster was playing well last night besides Jordan Poole. He ends up having 24 points and gets subbed back into the game with like a minute left in the third quarter. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching, getting ready for some Christmas stuff. So I'm wrapping presents, I'm stuffing my stockings, stuff like that. And I'm just sitting there. I'm in defeat. I'm like, yeah, he's gonna hit his over. He's gonna hit his over. He's gonna hit his over. And Quentin Grimes ends up fouling Jordan Poole with literally less than a second left on the shot clock, and it was like an intentional foul where they like wrapped him up. It wasn't even like a shooting, like a accidental shooting foul. It wasn't like a reach in. He literally grabbed Jordan Poole for no reason, puts Jordan Poole at the line for 2 free throws, ends up knocking down both free throws. He's at 26 points going into the fourth quarter, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh wow, he literally only has to get 1 bucket here in the fourth. So the fourth quarter ends up starting. The Warriors, they're down by like 19 or so, something along those lines. Manuel quickly comes in, hits 2 quick threes, and ends up bringing it up to 25. Then finally Steve Kerr ends up calling a timeout, taking Jordan Poole out of the game, and he does not see another minute. It was an absolute sweat, but luckily the New York Knicks ended up blowing out the Golden State Warriors, and Jordan Poole did not play almost any of that fourth quarter. So, thankfully, that one ended up working out for us, but I can't even sit there and say it was really a good call because it was more so just luck than anything that the Knicks actually did end up blowing them out. But then we did also end up having Ja Morant over 28.5 points versus the Nuggets. The Grizzlies started off this game getting absolutely blown out by the Nuggets. They were down by like 15 to 20 points in the first quarter. It was abysmal. And Ja Morant, I think, had like 10 points at the end of the first, something along those lines. But he ends up hitting 35 points in the game. Ends up scoring like 32 going into the fourth. Going into the fourth, he had like 32. So it ended up hitting in the third quarter. He had a very, very good third quarter. So we ended up going 2-0 in that, and then we did have our consensus play. Knicks -4.5. As I mentioned, that play was no sweat. But we ended up going with a clean sweep, 2-0 on our plays. We did have Jimmy Butler over 5.5 assists too. Ends up getting ruled out of the game. Nothing you can do about that. But let's go ahead and dive into today's plays. We do have some really good plays as of today. I think that we see a ton of value in these plays. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. So for our first official play of the day, our Kings kill shot play of the day, we're taking Jared Allen under 23.5 PRAs here versus Milwaukee at minus 120 odds. Now, I absolutely love this play. I love this play. If this were a channel where I would be doing 2-unit plays, this would be one of them. I absolutely love it because Jared Allen versus Milwaukee has been not good. He has not been good whatsoever. That defense between Giannis and Brook Lopez has really messed with Jared Allen. So over his 14 career games versus Milwaukee, he's only gone over this line one time. And I just think that we are going to see a very similar situation. This Bucks defense is no joke. They are a very good team overall. And over the course of the season, they allow the 4th fewest points per game to opposing teams. One of the best defenses in all of basketball. And it doesn't really stop just there. If you take a look at how the game script would be, obviously, Jared Allen is an inside center. He is going to be spending a lot of time out on the perimeter guarding a guy like Brook Lopez because Brook Lopez does shoot a ton of threes. As we know, like he's just a stretch big. That's the nature of it. A 3-and-D stretch big. And so Jared Allen is going to be spending a lot of time out there. That will affect his rebounds. So I think that is going to take some rebounds away from him as well. And Jared Allen doesn't shoot any jump shots. He's definitely just a layup and dunk type of guy. Well, Milwaukee allows the 6th fewest points per game in the paint in the entire NBA. So they have that paint absolutely locked down, and I don't really see why it would change like as of today. I think that this is going to be a very similar game script where they pack the paint. Jared Allen is not going to have a very easy time there at the rim, especially with Giannis, and he's not going to get a lot of rebounds because Brook Lopez is going to be out on the perimeter. I think it's a really good spot here. Milwaukee's 18th in pace, so they're just outside the bottom 10, and 217 over-under. Pretty low over-under just in general between two slow teams that don't really push the pace a whole lot. Sign me up for an under. So I do like it here for our first official play of the day, our kill shot play of the day. Jared Allen under 23.5 PRAs versus Milwaukee at minus 120 odds. Now for our second official play of the day, we're taking Luka Doncic over 30.5 points here versus the Timberwolves at minus 110 odds. Now, Luka is coming off of an absolutely horrible game last game versus the Minnesota Timberwolves where he had just 19 points. But the thing that I love about this is he shot awful. He shot only 29.4% from the field, which is something that is very, very, out of the ordinary for Luka Doncic. Normally, he does make a ton of those shots, and I think he gets back to that once again today. He did shoot 17 times last game in a total of only 28 minutes, and if we see anything like that once again, sign me up, because I think that he's gonna soar over this number, And in the last 7 games, Minnesota, they have allowed the 3rd most points per game to opposing point guards. So they have been one of the worst defenses in all of basketball to that point guard position. So a really good spot to target here. And another thing that I like about this is Luka averages 8 3-pointers attempted per game. Luka, as great of a player as he is, he loves to shoot threes, which is not a bad thing, but it's really good in this situation because in the last 7 games, Minnesota allows the 3rd most 3-pointers made per game to opposing point guards, and I think that we do see a ton of 3-pointers made here from Luka Doncic. That's another line that I did consider was his over in threes. It's juiced on some books and it's plus value on others, so it was just kind of weird, and I wasn't sure how comfortable I was with it, but I do think he attempts a ton of threes today, so I really do like it. He's exactly 6th and 6 to this line on the road this year. Don't love that part as much, which is why I didn't make it the kill shot play of the day, because I think that if it was at home, 100% would have hammered this. But on the road, he's exactly 50-50 to this line, so it just makes me a little bit nervous, but I do think that it is overall a pretty good spot. Minnesota is also 4th in pace, one of the fastest paced teams in all of basketball. Should be able to speed up this Dallas Mavericks offense that is very, very slow paced. And Rudy Gobert is listed as questionable. Of course, if he plays, it would affect the It would affect the play just a little bit, but I think even if he does play, regardless, Rudy Gobert's not going to really be out there guarding the three-point line, especially with Luka Doncic out there. He's going to be more so in the paint. Luka can get to his mid-range spots and get to his three-pointers just fine. I think that we still see a 31-point outing, even if Rudy Gobert's there. So I do like this play here for our second official play of the day. Luka over 30.5 points here versus the Timberwolves at -110 odds. Now for our third and final play of the day, we're going to be taking the Pacers and the Celtics under 232 points at -110 odds. Now, the main reason that I like this is because both these teams are kind of trending in the same direction. And basically what I mean by that is their offenses, despite them being very good offenses overall, here recently, both offenses haven't been the same offenses. If you take a look at it, Boston is first in the entire NBA in points per game this year. Well, over the last three, they're 28th. So they've literally, quite literally gone from the top almost to the very bottom in the last three games. So I think that Boston is kind of trying to figure out with Robert Williams back in that lineup exactly how they are going to run their offense. And Indiana, in the last three games, they are 16th in points per game. So theirs isn't as much of a drastic drop-off, but I still think it is one to mention. And Boston is 10th in points per game in their last three allowed, which is, their top 10 when it comes to defense as well. And Indiana, they're 16th, which I know that doesn't sound like, too crazy. It doesn't sound great. But Indiana, over the course of the season, they're 21st in points allowed. So they're not a very good defense. So the fact that they are trending in the upward direction really does give me a positive outlook on this. And Boston is 5th in defensive efficiency in the last three games, one of the best in all of basketball. And Indiana is 15th. Like I said, kind of mediocre, but they were bottom for most of the season. So I think it's a really good spot to target here. Indiana is also 19th slowest in pace in their last three games, which is huge because they've really started to slow things down. Indiana at the beginning of the year and over the course of the entire season, they're 6th in pace. So the fact that they dropped a whole 13 spots in pace, they've really slowed things down. And if you want to do a little bit of line reading for this, a lot of these lines are a little bit low for some of these players. Like Tatum, his line's at 28.5. Halliburton is at 18.5. Buddy Hield is at 15.5. Which all seems like they're just a little bit too low. So it makes me lean the under. I really do like this play quite a bit. And Robert Williams being back for this Boston defense, that just really makes it even more admirable for me. So I really do like this spot here. I think it is going to hit for us. So that's going to be our third and final play of the day. Pacers and the Celtics under 232 at -110 odds. Now, for our consensus play of the day, we are going to be in the Blazers and the Thunder game. The Thunder are currently 4-point underdogs here at home, taking on the Blazers. And the Blazers, they have a lot of injury questions right now. They have Damian Lillard questionable, Jeremy Grant questionable, Drew Eubanks questionable, Josh Hart questionable, and Yusuf Nurkic questionable. They have a ton of questionable pieces. And on the flip side, the Thunder, they have Jeremiah Robinson-Earl out, Josh Giddey out, and Darius Bazley out. So there's a ton of pieces out from both sides of it. So from left to right, we do have Brady. Brady is on the Portland Trailblazers. We do have Mitch. Mitch is going to be on the Thunder. We do have Ryan. Ryan is on the Thunder. Seth is on the Thunder. And then for me, personally, I am also on the Thunder. So the consensus play of the day is going to be the Thunder +4 here versus the Portland Trailblazers at -110 odds. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. As I had mentioned, we are on the road to 10,000 subscribers, and if we end up hitting 10,000 subscribers by the time that New Year's does hit, we will be doing a huge giveaway that you guys will not want to miss. So make sure that you guys are subbed, but that's going to do it for me. This is King Center signing out. Peace.